building, man. How y'all doing, man? How everybody feeling today, man? I'm feeling blessed because I woke up this morning. Man, episode 4, woo! We got a heater today, man. A heater. I'm talking about, I don't know how this one's gonna go today. But you already know who I am. Old Heads co-host, Omar O'Malley, aka Mr. Rello. If you know, you know. Man, how y'all doing out there? Episode 4, let's get it.
Hello, it's J Dobbs. So follow me on Facebook, JD30 on Instagram.
Man, Hendo, man. Find me on Facebook, the whole government, Chris Henderson. Catch me on Twitter. You can catch episodes of this on Twitter too as well.
Yes, sir.
At 2K or at HittyG2K. Both ways.
Ooh, excuse me, I'm parched, y'all. Anyway, we got a great show today for y'all, man. Like I said, I don't know how this was gonna go today, but we're gonna kick it off with the NBA Finals review. What y'all think about that? Game 3?
I think that was quite a statement game for Curry. I feel like, he showed that he's really about this. He's really trying to, he took over that game. He took over. He pulled through for his team on the road and got him done.
Well, that's game 4. I'm sorry, game 4. Game 4. How you feel about it?
I think it was what it was, man. We've been calling this. We know this was going to be a back-and-back punching battle. We knew.
Right.
This is exactly what I expected. No lie. But like I said, everybody else calling Boston in Game 6, and I'm calling Warriors in Game 7. This is exactly what I expected.
You did.
To the T. To the T. This is exactly what I expected. I expect the Warriors to get another good game. I expect Boston to get another couple good games in. So,
would you guys say this was Curry's statement game? Because to me, I was thinking it kind of reminded me of that Isaiah Thomas game where he was on the bum ankle and then went out there. Do you think it was something like that, or do you think it was more or less he wasn't as hurt as he said he was, and he just performed like a healthy, hot Steph Curry would?
I think these guys, once they kind of get into the zone and get out there, it's their livelihood on the line. I think they're hurt, but they play through that. They can get through it. I feel like, we take it a little bit more than what it is. A guy playing on a sprained ankle. Don't get me wrong, sprained ankle hurt, but it's his livelihood. Making millions. And, they got the best physicians, doctors and physicians out there. They, I feel like they get taken care of. So I think he, just pulled through. I think he just muscled through it.
How do you feel about it?
I think that was a statement game. I think a lot of people really was starting to count Curry out. And they were trying to say that Boston was just going to run through those guys. And, for a guy of Curry's size to come through and fight through that, because, he's getting a lot of hands put on him, too. It's not easy out there. Every time I look up,
I talked about that. That's size difference.
He had a leg tangle with somebody. Kind of almost looked like they're trying to get him out there, put a little pressure on him. I won't say they're trying to injure him, but, them extra little bumps and bruises, they do matter in that long run.
So would you say that's the difference from salted butter and unsalted butter? Would you say that's the difference?
Yeah, it's fair.
Would you say that?
My only question is, can you do it?
We actually gonna make us some t-shirts, buttery ankles. I just thought about that. We're gonna have to do that with some little blue, it's gonna be blue and yellow with some ankles going this way and some butter underneath.
My question,
they know why.
Hey, my question for both y'all, can he do it 2 more times? Do you think Curry can do this 2 more times?
Yeah.
I guess that Boston defense.
It ain't that Curry can do it because Curry can shoot. It's can they still maintain this type of energy in that fourth quarter? If the Warriors are going to lose, it's going to be in the fourth quarter, and just by the fourth quarter decisions on me. I think anything is pretty much irrelevant up till halftime. The third quarter is usually the Warriors, and the fourth quarter has been kind of back and forth, but Boston seems a little bit more dominant in that fourth quarter stretch.
Actually, I love the fact you said that because Game 3, that was the third out of the past 4 games where Boston had dominated Golden State in the fourth quarter. And when they outscored 23-11 in that fourth quarter, Game 3, it was 31-19 in the regular season. In the fourth quarter, that's when I think Jason Tatum had a 20-12 game, like 26-12 or something like that. So yeah, I think definitely I agree as far as the fourth quarter goes. If they're going to lose it, they'll lose it in the fourth. But like I said, I still got Boston at 6.
I'll say so.
I think when you look at, I wouldn't say that you asked him he can do it again. Let me answer that first. I think he can do it again, but he won't have to because Poole is due for a big game. That's gonna happen. I don't think it'll be one of those finals where he just doesn't play well. He's due for a big game to where I think Steph won't have to have one if Golden State does win the chip. And also, Clay is due for another big game. No one wants to see Clay game 6 of the finals. Nobody. So, can he do it again? Absolutely. He's a great shooter ever. But if, like I said, if they win it, I don't think he'll have to because I think those other guys will step up. But I have Boston for 6. That's why I'm kind of leaning toward it, man. I feel like they're too big, and if you really look at it, they still really haven't put together a whole game. And Steph got hot, but outside of Steph, if Steph would have had a normal 30-point game, Boston would have won that game.
Gary Payton Jr. is kind of stepping in a little bit too. He bounced back decently, just as a role. Sometimes they need somebody to come in and still be consistent with defense and offense while they give Steph a breather. I think he's been doing a decent job coming off the bench. Nothing to step over, but like I said, when it comes to the finals, you don't really need everybody to be superstars. You just need them to play their role consistently.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Are y'all concerned about Clay? Like, do y'all think he's going to eventually come around game 6, or if he doesn't come around, you think the Warriors will take it?
Personally, I think the Warriors will trouble myself. I still, even though they won this game, I think it will go 7. I just think that Boston's defense is going to overpower them at some point. I think Klay Thompson, as far as that question goes, I think he's still trying to work back into it right now. I don't think he's all the way 100%. I think it's more of a mind thing right now. It's a mental thing for him, a little bit of a mental block. I mean, if he can get over it, if he can give him one more game, I think what they got so they got 3 more games. That's 2 out of 3 at this point.
Yeah.
If he can give him at least one more game, and preferably on the road in Boston in Game 6, I think it would really help out Curry, because that's my main question with Curry. It's not that can he put up the points, it's more so can he put up enough points and lead his team to win. Because it'd be great if Curry put up 40 for the rest of the series, but if they lose, it don't mean nothing.
Right.
So
I don't think it would be out of the realms. I would personally put Clay on the bench. It's all cool.
I thought that wouldn't be a bad idea.
That's what I would for.
I wonder what's up with him. I haven't seen him really a lot of production from him. I know he's getting a little up there in age, but man, he still can shoot the ball, can tackle the rim. I mean, I noticed they started in game 1. They started.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen him back really solidified in that rotation since then. I don't know if he kind of got exposed. I don't know, but to me, he's kind of a mismatch. He's the person that can go in and guard Tatum from time to time. And I can say consistently stop him, but he at least made a difference maker on his jump shot. He can at least contest a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think, I don't know, man. I really just don't think the Warriors are going to be consistently be able to put that type of effort night in and night out from everybody. And like I said, even with Curry having the type of game that he had, Tatum still hasn't had a breakout game himself. Tatum went for 50 several times.
Yeah.
Several times he's went for 50. He hasn't had one of those games yet in the finals. So I think if he can put together a big time game, Boston can win. And also, he can have a mediocre game and Jaylen Brown play his normal game. And I think there's still enough to beat the Warriors. I just feel like Boston's the better team. Now, that doesn't mean them being the better team, they're going to win. If you look at that Dallas Mavericks Miami Heat team, when Dirk won his ring, everybody would say Miami had the better team.
Stat-wise, I mean, as far as people that put up numbers consecutively, regularly, they might win, but I think that's why Dallas got counted out so much, though.
I'm gonna push back on that. If you play a 4 out of 7 series, I feel like the best team's gonna win that. I don't, you know, we talk about football, and this is another debate for another time. But I'm personally, if you win a championship, I feel like you're the better team. You know, if you win the championship that year, you're the best team, and especially in basketball.
On paper, they were probably the better team, is what I'm saying. On paper, but that paper doesn't count for an emotion core, how you work within the system, teammates, and they did a great job of doing it. Yeah. But the one thing that I always say about the Mavericks that year, their bench was underrated that year. Their bench was solid. Yeah. I'm talking about they could get good rest out any player because the bench could step in. That's what a lot of teams don't have right now is a solid, solidified bench that can give their starters big breaks, big games and stuff where they can come in and start doing big things like in the third and fourth.
And add on to what you were saying too, you know, the Mavericks team that year to me, they were just mentally tougher than the Heat. The Heat, you know, LeBron, he was still trying to figure out some things and whatnot, and then, you know, Wade was the only one who really won. I just felt like Dirk, they kind of had more of a killer mindset back then in that finals, but
it was their time. Plus, I think Dirk was teetering, retiring at that time as well too.
Absolutely.
So it took a lot to keep that little team together. So, get back to the point. Yeah, get back to the point. You know, I think Boston is they're doing a great job down low. As far as like scoring down low, it's hard. But that kind of plays to the Warriors' hands though, because they're a shoot first team though. So it's kind of like, you know, it almost like it balances out. You know.
Yes and no, but when I sat there and I was doing a little research and I thought about it, another reason why I think Boston's going to win is because I think the Warriors are an older team and they're smaller. And I started thinking about fourth quarter. Physically, I think they start to wear down. I think if the Warriors, I think they almost have to be ahead in order for them to win ACC. They almost have to be ahead because you can't be down and they're smaller and come fourth quarter, you're already trying to work around all these screens and this and that. And they're probably, Draymond's giving up maybe 20, 30 pounds to some of these guys.
Yeah, because he's playing center. Yeah.
So I think that's why a lot of people's not looking at the physicality of Boston and their size is a reason why they have been able to dominate the fourth. And we also look at Golden State, they're jump shooters. So your legs are going to go.
Yeah.
Boston doesn't necessarily have to sit there. If they hot, they can shoot jumpers, but they don't necessarily have to. Tatum 6'10", he can drive to the rack. Right. Jaylen Brown can use the mid-range, he can drive to the rack. So I think that's another thing that people aren't looking at.
I think with the exception of Curry having a great game, I think Looney finally came in and did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Solidified that middle. He was playing a little harder down low and stuff. Because I started seeing, you didn't really hear as much of Al Horford. You know, Al Horford was running their ass up that first game. You know,
Absolutely.
So I think they kind of found. I think he is, but I think they kind of found like a little answer that last game, just off the last game, to like kind of calm him down a little bit and just try to make Tatum that main sport. Although Jaylen Brown had a great game too. Even though they lost, he had a great game.
And I want to add one more thing about the Warriors too, that because we you know, there's this narrative that they're, you know, they have the greatest shooters in Curry and Clay and Poole, and you know, you can kind of throw Wiggins in there. Yeah. But kind of back to what you were saying with Iggy, then you start getting Draymond and Iguodala and Looney and Kuminga and all those guys really aren't great shooters. So really, you know, you can't have Draymond and Iggy out there with Lillard and Looney, because then you got two, 3 guys who might be able to shoot, and then you can just lock down the paint. So I think that's kind of one of those narratives that, you know, the Warriors, you think they're just this great three-point shooting team, but it's just a couple guys on the team that are great at it.
Yeah.
It's not the whole team, but
because Grant Williams is shooting.
They got some shooting.
Al Horford's shooting.
Horford, yeah.
I ain't gonna act like they're consistent shooters, but man, they will hit that shot. If you can't give them that open shot, you have to respect their shot. You have to at least step out to run out and get a hand on it. If you don't, hand down, man down.
Absolutely.
And they get caught that a lot.
Man, off to a great start today, but man, my guy here, man, introduce yourself, man. Tell people they can reach you at.
Oh man, B.I. yet again, man. This is the story, man. You know, sitting on around. I don't use social media as much as I probably should, but I am an old head to the old dudes going with the lower technology. So with that being said, I heard y'all call the Warriors front row. I was just asking the question. I heard you say something about they gotta be up, and that's actually not on them too. jump shooting teams and that team, they gotta be up. They really could lose the way in third. So when the pressure is on, you saying that Steph and company had trouble scoring both games?
No, I'm
I
not.
heard you say that.
I'm saying they have in the past before game 4, the past 3 or 4 games they had played Boston, they had lost every fourth quarter. And I feel like a lot of that is predicated on Boston's physicality and the fact that when it comes to the fourth quarter, the fact that Golden State are jump shooters. When you're a jump shooter, your legs will go. And I feel like throughout the course of people not looking at coming across all those screens and trying to get across, Steph is only maybe they got him listed, I think 186 pounds or something like that.
That's right. We were saying.
Yeah.
And I'm 225.
Yeah. I mean, now he cut, you know what I'm saying? But still, it's a difference. Like I've seen Jabari Parker close up. A 210 on me and a 210 on somebody that plays in the league is totally different. It's totally different. You know what I'm saying? It's totally different. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like people aren't looking at Golden State being a jump shooting team is why they're losing, because their legs are gone by the time the fourth quarter is coming. Now, I mean, I'm not saying it's not going to happen every time, because they are great shooters. I mean, Mike, we saw what Mike did. Heart is everything. Allen Iverson was probably 160 pounds soaking wet. A lot of his game, yes, was talent, but a lot of that was heart too. So I'm not saying that they can't do it, but I'm saying reality and physics also play a big part of them not possibly being
The
able.
Warriors are the only jump shooting team to win a championship solely by shooting the ball. There's never been another team to win a championship by shooting the three as well as they have. So with that being said,
They were the very first team.
that's where I have faith in them, because they shoot that ball. When we talk about jumping, they shoot the ball really well, like very well. Very well, and they're consistent. The thing about this series has been a lot of inconsistency.
But that's very contagious.
The thing is, back then Draymond was giving him some threes. Draymond was like, he can't. I don't know. It's like you don't even shoot him at all anymore.
They
get a few up.
Their shit back in the day. They had good
Yes.
shots on that team.
Yeah.
You know, Marco Simon and he could shoot back
Yeah.
then. So I remember a lot of shooters on that team that are impressive. But now when you say these guys, how far they really gonna go as far as being the leaders of that team. Because I feel like their jump shooting was always questionable. Like you said, this was the first team. I'm not saying it's the only team. I think they're the pioneers. There's going to be more. But at the same point in time, the league goes, jump shots come and go. And when you play against good strategy, also good talent, and good jump shooting, and good, they move the ball, man. The thing that I love about Boston is that they just like Golden State. It's not the same. It's not the same wing cuts when you first get up with them. It's not exactly the same as a lot of moves. You know, and I like those two coaches, what they do from Coach Popovich. Coach Popovich got those moves, the curve. He got those guys ready to lead their teams where all the role players are ready. You know, that's not something that you see from a lot of playoff teams. When you see great teams where all the role players are ready to play all the time. They may not have that standout game every game, but when all the role players know their roles are clearly defined. You know what you're supposed to do step by step every game. You know, then I just feel like both of these teams prepared. With that being said, strategy-wise, Boston is equal to Golden State. Golden State, in my opinion, is used to playing against the inferior coach teams. Coach Curry has been outclassing coaches for the last I don't know how many years. That hasn't been comparable, matchups from a coaching standpoint when they get to those final games. It's like Coach Curry against LeBron. LeBron was that coach. LeBron is the offensive coordinator the same way as Peyton Manning. When he comes to your team, you gotta give him the keys to the Corvette and say, right. I said, Omaha. So, I mean, that's just my point as far as the strategy. I feel like they evenly match, which gives them the opportunity to let their star players shine. Because if the other team, man, you got your star players, but if you being outclassed the coaching spot, then it's hard as an uphill battle.
Right. I absolutely agree. I can't deny that, man. Y'all anything else about the finals? Y'all anybody want to change who they think gonna win?
The Warriors are 7 still. I'm standing on it. Warriors are 7, baby.
Warriors are 7.
Warriors are 7.
You got Boston
Boston
at 7. I got Boston at 6.
I'm right there with Boston. 7.
Boston at 7. Okay. All right, man. It's gonna be interesting, man. Y'all, episode 5, man. Can we get a hand clap for that, man? Man, hand clap. Episode 5 next week. It will be Saturday. Check us out, man. Riverside Park, Juneteenth. We got another one, man. Who would you start a franchise with? LeBron James or Magic Johnson? That's what we're going to be doing next week. It's going to be ugly. And we might have some Michael Jordan questions in there. So, yeah, y'all go ahead and it's going to be a scorcher next week. We might, yes, I think so. That's going to be a scorcher. I think so.
2 or 3 times, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be hot, man. It's supposed to be 88. I already checked. It's supposed to be 88. So, man, we gonna be out there, man. We gonna have us some beers, some beverages, and man, gonna have us a good time, man. Live debates, man. If you win, then you win. But I doubt it. Ain't too many people got more knowledge about the game than us. But man, it's gonna have a good time next week. But NBA news, man. Y'all want to talk about NBA news? What y'all got been going on around the league? Anything?
I've seen something this morning, and I'm just curious to see what y'all think about it. So there was a report saying that, or Anthony Davis, I believe, actually said that he hasn't shot a basketball since April 6th.
Oh, I saw that.
How do you feel about that? I know you wanted Anthony Davis to come over to Chicago.
I feel like Anthony Davis is a champion already. If he don't want to shoot the ball right now for a little bit, take some time to figure out his life and his elements and his injuries, shit, that's on him. I've seen other players do it. We watched Shaq do it, still win 2 more championships.
Do you think, well, but that's one of Shaq's biggest knocks too, though, is that he didn't, work as hard as he should.
I think with Anthony Davis right now, it ain't about shooting shots and getting the shots up. I think he needs to go put some weight on. I think he needs to be a solidified big man, hit that gym a little bit more. I think he needs to bulk up. Because that's what's stopping him from being better than what he is a little bit.
You think so?
I think his shot's whack. It ain't his shot that wasn't calling. He just can't stay healthy. It ain't his shot, it's him.
But do you think it plays more into the mind, like the narrative that Anthony Davis doesn't have the passion for the game as some other players? That's kind of.
I think it
I think it is.
But I will say this on the contrary, just to debate the other side of it. He's fragile. Do we really want him doing a whole bunch of moving around? We don't want him hurting in the offseason to come down. He hurt the start of the season. Maybe he needs to sit down somewhere. So we need to work with bands.
Shout out to Avion Crockett too for doing a perfect AD thing. He had him on the couch doing the remote control and all that. He was by the fridge, he just fell. We don't want him doing no activities, no swimming, no nothing. He just needs to sit down, man.
Maybe he's swimming, to be honest, stripping all his head, to be honest. He needs to work with bands and be swimming.
Yeah.
Free weights is not his thing. I don't think he should be running on concrete. He needs to do everything.
He even played that game.
He's just running his head. He's just running his head.
Hey, I love him, man. I'm just saying, we want to see him healthy.
Anthony, we need a lot of questions answered, man. We don't know if you should stay in basketball or professional volleyball and sand. We don't know what's going on.
I think it's your opinion.
AD, I guess it's different for different players, man. Because Allen Iverson was the same way. I was watching an interview, I can't remember who it was, but they said how AI would go out, go to the club, and kick it, then go to the strip club, go to another club after that, get something to eat, kick it all day, go to the ball. This is what he did all summer. He said he practiced, first day of practice, stretched for 10 minutes, came out, he was AI. Some people just built it.
Ryman took off in the middle of a game, not a series, but he knew he had a game, and Mike literally had to go to Vegas and go get him back. And Ryman, that's going wrong. Some people can do that, but AD's the type of dude, he got to be in some type of shape. And I think the reason he's been getting so injured is because he hasn't been taking care of his body. I look at people but to me that's a misconception. Just because he says he had a shot at basketball, that doesn't mean he's not training.
That's what I was thinking too.
To me, okay, I haven't shot at basketball, okay, but that doesn't mean that he isn't still like lifting weights or bands or doing or swimming or still like working out. Like that doesn't mean anything because also we don't know what type of surgery he's had. He might need recovery time. You know what I'm saying?
I think about that too, but he's too young to be having the type of injuries in the bulk matter that he does. And that's the true thing. That's why everybody looks at Anthony Davis like a liability sometimes. Because he's too young. I've never known another player of his caliber to be that injured all the time, though.
So let me ask you this. You're a Bulls fan, right? Are you a Bulls fan?
I like the Bulls.
You're a Bulls fan. I know there were some rumors talking about Anthony Davis going to the Bulls. Would you take Anthony Davis on the Bulls? Would you want the Bulls to pay him a max contract?
For who? We talking about for all
Like,
street clothes, Lonzo Ball, and maybe so it's the same thing. I mean, I like Lonzo on the team, but we need size. I mean, dude, he's a street clothes guy too. If you look at Lonzo's career, so if you swap him out for a guy like that, but I don't want to swap him out for DeRozan, the guy who played the whole year.
But like Levine.
If Levine would want to stay, if not now, if Levine want to go anyway, then let him go ahead and walk and we can get Anthony Davis for him, fine. But honestly, man, I wouldn't want to give up Zach. Zach played most of the year. You know, I don't want to give up healthy guys for guys who don't see the court.
So that's a no. That's a no. So I'm just trying to get. I want to go through all y'all. I want to see you wouldn't take for because we'll just do Zach Levine because I feel like he's the guy that the Bulls are trying to move. Would you trade Zach Levine for? Would you trade Zach Levine for Anthony Davis? Yeah, you would. Would you trade Zach Levine for Anthony Davis?
I would do it because given last year they played the same amount of games. They literally played the same amount of games last year. They literally played it. And the amount of what AD did, I could put a basketball team on his shoulders. We're talking about when AD was playing, Westbrook was the only man in, LeBron was still out, and AD was out there putting up what he could. I'm yet to see my guy Levine, who I like a lot, be as productive as that. I would make the trade because we need somebody down low we can dump down to and get consistent buckets, and AD can fill that role for us if Zach wanted to leave.
It would be perfect because AD don't like playing the center. We got to go.
Right. It actually makes a lot of sense and it works out. And they're actually going to be around. We'd actually save money getting AD because I don't think we would have to pay him right now for whatever he's owed, which isn't that much. And LA would be picking up a huge $200 million contract with Zach Levine. That would work out money-wise for us. It would work out.
We might have to pay dude's AARP.
We might. We might.
Anthony Davis, that dude getting old, man.
We
How old is
might.
Anthony Davis now? 29. He's seen 39.
He ain't gonna get home. Say that. He take care of himself. He takes care of himself.
We've seen him play at his top peak and what he can do for a team. Like, I still put it like this. That New Orleans team that drafted him, they didn't really have a whole lot around him consistent. They had a decent little mediocre team, but it wasn't a consistent team. And he was taking that team, took them to the playoffs. I mean, it was, but that's enough to put that team in a heavy division. They had Drew Holiday, yeah. That's how I know Drew was going to be good with the Bucks.
Cousins at one point, it was always.
But Cousins was banged up too, so. But AD was too. But like I said, they still went to the playoffs. AD was in the playoffs.
I used to Cubs at that time. When they got together, they were both they dropped like 30 on people apiece. They were cousins with cousins.
But have you seen? Did you ever see Zach Levine take that Timberwolves team to the playoffs?
He wasn't ready yet. He didn't have the
I'm just saying. He was an explosive dunker. That's what he was. He wasn't doing not enough dunking to get them where they. But that's what I'm saying. I've seen AD do it with a mediocre Pelican team, but I haven't seen Zach do it with a pretty decent team. Wiggins, Towns.
If you watching the progress of Zach Levine, it wasn't until the USA team, the year of the summer before this year, that's when he took a bigger leap as far as, I don't know, as far as, I think just being an overall more efficient player.
He's improved every year.
He is every year. And I'll give him that. But he's also been injured. I don't trust that injury. When it comes down to it, I just don't trust that injury. He had to go get drained before the All-Star game, right? Or after the All-Star game, he got his knee drained. And then he was in and out rotation all from the end of the season going into the playoffs, in and out rotation. We can't get him consistent because that knee is tricky. Now he has to go get another surgery done to go clean up the rest of the knee. Who knows how he bounced back from that? I take AD on that. And these are rough. especially with a dunker.
It's a good argument. It's a good argument. Maybe it's just hard to trust. I mean, the only thing I seen was Gobert and some potential trade Gobert down on Hawks. They wanted Gobert and Bogdanovich from Utah to go to the Hawks for Hunter, the defensive dude, and John Collins. The jumper was out.
They want Gobert.
Yeah, Gobert, yeah, from Utah. And
Gobert, okay, Frenchie,
I
okay.
don't really see him having the hands to catch those alley-oops the way John Collins would.
Right.
If you still got Capella, then I mean,
That's what
he
he
did.
did. Weird. Yeah, what he do with Capella?
I love Capella. Soon as you start listening to Chicago, but it's too many teams that he is underrated. He's probably the best rim runner in the league just because of his height. He's not very athletic.
Golden State will be a perfect spot.
Golden State.
No, I'll take the Lakers, excuse me.
Lakers.
Lakers will be a perfect
Who's
spot.
throwing that out?
Right. Doesn't. I'm not looking at that. I'm not looking at that. I'm
around.
right. He's a rim runner, and then he likes to play the five.
Yeah.
AD doesn't want to play the five. AD wants to play the
yeah,
four.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I think defensively that definitely helps.
Yeah, it would. But they need some shooters around all.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the Lakers got a lot. Lakers got a lot of work.
They got to spend on that. It's hard trying to figure out that team. They got to want some miracles.
I actually said that's all. But I'll let if he was done. I'll let NBA news.
I've seen Aiden was trying to get to the Spurs. I think we put
that's
that's a big move.
I think I'm kind of hard on Aiden because I feel like he needs a coach to kind of toughen him up, and I think Popovich would be a good coach for that. And I think him and DeJounte Murray would be a nice little kind of setup for a nice little core. We can get draft another or even develop even Keldon Johnson or Devin Vassell to kind of step up and be that third star for us. I feel like we can kind of get back on track and beat something in a year or two.
I think DeJounte Murray, Ayton, and Johnny Davis, if that was a pull off, I think that'd be a great start to a team. I think the Spurs.
You got him locked in with the Spurs.
Man, it's really looking good. I mean, I heard from sources, man. Johnny already been talking to Pop.
Yeah.
And he been getting phone calls, man. Now, really reliable sources, man. I ain't gonna say no names, but really reliable sources. He on the phone. They
That would
talking.
be a good fit with 802. I feel like Coach Pop is missing a big man. When he got Lamar Aldridge or Lamar. Yeah, when he got he was not old, but he wasn't. He's not an athletic guy. He can shoot, but he was kind of over the hill a little bit already. He wasn't a good fit for Coach Pop to hold down that 4 or 5 spot. You get a young boy like Aiden in there, that's all they need. They could use another one. They could use another victim to run with them. But that's an awesome start because, man, Coach Pop, his movement, man, a lot of that is predicated on what that centerpiece is going to do. So when you got guys that you don't have to worry about guarding, that makes them way more one-dimensional. They were too easy to guard.
They could really, but I gotta to be fair, that Spurs team, because we were on pace. We were gonna beat the Warriors with KD in that first year. But Kawhi got hurt. Yeah, Kawhi got hurt. Kawhi got hurt. Kawhi went because Aldridge. He was super good. I was rocking with Aldridge.
Not more than twice.
Because keep in mind that Spurs team we were built. They had retooled and everything. They moved off Duncan. They still had they didn't have Parker, I don't think. But it was supposed to be Kawhi and Aldridge, and they were supposed to be those guys, and they were doing well. We were up 20 points on the Warriors in game 1, and then
Still though, didn't they?
I think he was coming, man. He was old.
That's the big year he had that big block on Harden. He came over and had that block.
Right. Now but man, but once Kawhi, we lost him, that kind of, and then we got the Rosen, that kind of, took us off track. So, but anyway, Aldridge, I used to like Aldridge. I was excited when we got him, but
You might get home. Maybe you might be.
And I don't know if y'all seen the movie Hustle yet.
Yeah.
If y'all haven't seen it, man, make sure y'all check that out. That's a great basketball movie. It's easily gonna move probably into my top 5 basketball.
watched it just last night.
It's
It's
nice.
a good movie.
It's a good movie, bro.
There's a lot of guys.
Yeah, it's giving it a bout for it. It's giving it a bout for it. I ain't gonna say it's gonna, cause man, I'm gonna still, but it's definitely moving up there, man. Let it grow on you a little bit. Y'all check it out, man. I think it's on Netflix. Netflix, man. I ain't trying to give out no free shout outs, but man. man. Check out that movie, Hustle with Adam Sandler in it, man. Great basketball movie.
Tons of people in that.
Let me know how y'all feel about it.
Tons of people.
Well, I wanted to talk about, I'm sorry, what you done there though?
Oh, man. Man, if y'all watch that movie, man, watch my man Edwards in there, man. Edwards playing a pretty big role in there.
Anthony Edwards?
Man.
He's the villain.
They got him as the villain there, man. He playing a good role, man. That man can ball, bro. Shout out to Anthony Edwards, man. He gonna be he up and coming, man. I think next year I'm gonna have him in my top 5. I think he's gonna move into my top 5 next year. He nice, man. I said we gonna see. We gotta see. We gotta see, man.
I'm jumping on your
Since we're talking about top 5 and this, and I think most people, y'all would have LeBron in y'all top 5, right? Players of the league. Well, he's been talking about saying where he would want to play. And Warriors is what he said. And just let me say what I'll say, then y'all can opine. But I think personally, if I'm the Warriors and the Lakers, I'll make that trade. I would trade Clay and Kuminga to the Lakers for LeBron. Now, reason why I say that is this. Davis, when healthy, is still a top 10 player. And you're probably not going to be able to let Russ go, right? So, but you still got Russ for one more year. Clay could probably returns to old Clay at close to next year because it's only about a year removed from your ACL or whatever. So he should return to being a more better productive. Then hopefully you would hope Kuminga would be maybe not next year, but a year or two from being an all-star level player if he projects the way we expect him to be. So that's not a bad lineup to me. If you have Russ, Clay, Kuminga, Anthony Davis, and say you bring in somebody like a Mitchell Robinson or something like that. To me, that's not bad. You only got LeBron for one more year anyway. Then, with the Warriors, okay, you might not have Clay, but now, we need you to step up and be that superstar now, that second superstar. LeBron, we simply just need you to be LeBron. Facilitate. Steph, you shoot. You don't even have to bring the ball up no more. So come fourth quarter, you fresh. LeBron's an android anyway. He doesn't get tired. So I think personally, that works out great for both teams. I mean, it's something that I looked into. I did a little research, and like I said, I don't think that's crazy. And I think LeBron is very, very, very calculated. I don't think he says anything that he doesn't know people are going to pick up.
I think Clay is going to cry. Just like Kendrick Perkins did when he went to OKC, he had to do something. If Clay gets split up, it's definitely going to be
Who you say Kendrick cried?
Kendrick cried. He cried like a baby.
He's still crying on TV.
He still is.
No, I don't. Dude, no, I don't.
Average 2 points and shit.
No, I don't. Look here. I'm a dress. God damn it.
I think I kind of piggyback off your idea. I think they keep Clay though. I think Clay's the one that stays. They let go of Draymond and LeBron don't get along. If you put them on the same team, they're not going to hold. This is a proven fact. Draymond.
People like
Listen.
somebody to cuss him out.
Man, that sound good. Until you run into Draymond. Draymond chased off KD. Told KD, we didn't need you. We was winning before you got here. And I can see him doing that same thing to LeBron because their feud of going in their finals of the series is tough. They have a very thin line between love and respect between each other. I think you trade Draymond Green and you get LeBron over there and stuff because I think it has to be more of a pool Draymond Green and then you give him that and then because they can work out. That brings a lot of defense to a Laker team that has been defenseless for the last season. I think their defense was a big issue. They get far scoring the ball, but they couldn't stop it either.
See, to me, LeBron is different. Even I watched the interview with Amon Shelton. What's up? Shout out Amon Shelton, man. Come mess with us. Iman Shelton. He was kind of that type of dude on the team, and he would like call LeBron out, and he said like LeBron holds himself accountable. So I think if you look at that KD situation, KD and LeBron are two totally different animals. KD left pretty much OKC because Russ was holding him accountable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then Draymond holds him accountable, then he leaves. I'm not saying KD is a punk or anything like that, but some people are just built different. Some people might not like, you know what I'm saying, that friction. You know what I'm saying? But some people thrive in that. You know what I'm saying? Some people thrive in the friction. So I feel like LeBron, I feel like he's gonna hold himself accountable. I think cussing out LeBron, I feel like is gonna make him play better.
I think it tarnishes both their legacies though, because if you won one by yourself, you won two with KD, and now you win one with LeBron. Doesn't kind of, because everybody looks at KD a little different from going over that Warriors. Granted, that was the team they lost to, you know, that Thunder team, going over there to win. Everybody sit here and criticize him. He'll always, you know,
that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest.
But see, nobody wants. I mean, as much as people want those championships.
LeBron and Golden State's legacy, they played against each
That's
other.
what I'm saying, though. So, do you think that's the move for either one of them teams to make them like step above the rest? Because now we got Curry out here with people. LeBron is talking about who's going to hold down the best in the West. That's what it comes down to. Right now, LeBron is like he's out the picture until this finals is over, which Curry is in. So now you want to hop to that team?
You can't do
It
that.
can work.
D-Wade, he came to be LeBron with the D-Wade's team. Then Kyrie hit the shot. LeBron was only really responsible for carrying that Lakers team as being like the veteran presence and like leading the team. And even Anthony Davis hit one of those shots in the bubble. And that play was designed for LeBron. Rondo said, all I'm saying is, man, if he go to Golden State and piggyback off them, I mean, then look, I'm always talking about that upper echelon of players where you got Magic with his 5. You got Kobe with his 5, LeBron with his 4, Steph with his 3. Now you put them together, and then whenever they win, Steph wins 4 and LeBron wins 5. I feel like they're cheating together. You know what I'm saying? They're cheating the whole legacy thing together.
So they won ball.
And
Somebody stats on
and I'll say this, like,
yeah, that too.
that's you can't. I don't think that'd be a good one. On paper, it would look good, and they might win a ship. But like, I can piggyback off what y'all saying. That legacy,
Yeah.
it would
All that
turn
legacy
this
stuff.
up. People already hate on LeBron and say all this and all that about him. Man, they be
You can't do that.
And then if, let's say he did go there and they won the finals, and Curry won Finals MVP. You know, I don't know. I just don't feel like that would sit right.
that's gonna get real sticky.
It would get real sticky.
Mike would have teamed up with Larry Bird who won here to end the
Yeah.
You know,
They already
They already compete with him and Scotty. And they always try to say Scotty said, I was a better player. Shit, I can tell, but I can't tell. But it will always be an argument there. That's why I say I think it's conflicting. I don't know. I think it'd be a good, like you said, it's good on paper, but I think they struggled that first year. That if that's the move, they struggled. That ball.
And imagine if they were to lose. Imagine if they did win.
They look worse than that. Worse than that.
I feel like they probably wouldn't struggle as much if they did trade Draymond. It's because LeBron becomes that passer before.
Right. That's why I feel like he has to be the one to lead in order for that to happen.
But
But
then
that
you
also
have the defense, and now you don't have a rim protector. LeBron ain't a rim protector.
he can be if you wanted
want to
to.
get dirty way Draymond want to get
If
dirty. Draymond want to guard the Joker.
If
show him up.
If LeBron wanted to be that elite defender, he has the talent, the athleticism to still do that. That's just never been his job.
Yeah.
It's just never been his job.
It's Spurs, though.
Because we
If I ask him to do all that, play Draymond Green role, and he does that, I do think that does add up to LeBron. Like the same way Michael Jordan went back, came back retirement and went to the post area instead of just playing on the wing all the time. He changed his game, and if LeBron can do that, that says a lot about him.
Magic did it.
Then we talking about that legacy.
Magic didn't change his whole game. He played center. Kareem was out. Won the finals.
Did he want that whole Pandora's box to open?
He was 6'8" though.
You know what I'm saying?
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. He could do it if he wanted to, because the way I view it is Draymond, what he had, like, not the last game, the game before, 4 points. There's not too many playoff games where I've seen LeBron not have 10 plus points.
Exactly.
So that changes the whole aspect of how he plays that role.
Don't feel that. Can I ask y'all something since we're talking about legacy? Bradley Beal. Wizards can offer him 5 years for $250 million. 50 million.
Yeah, 50 million per month.
Yeah. Any other team can offer him 4-year, 179 million. Do you guys hold people accountable? Does that fall into their legacy if they take the money? Because I heard him, he did an interview, I believe, might have been with Taylor Rooks, and he said that the way he looks at it is if he would stay in Washington, he would look at it as he would like people to come play with him. That's how he would look at it if he was staying in Washington. But do you guys hold it? You know, I'm gonna let y'all finish. But do you guys hold that people's legacy against them if they take the money and stay with a team as opposed to going for another team, a la Carmelo Anthony?
Let me kick this off. Yes, because it depends on your. Like I be ready, constantly said this. You have a small window of opportunity to win championships. Okay, because you're healthy now, you have no critical injuries. You probably might be Bradley Beal's entering his prime. Like we're probably going to see the best of him soon, and he's going to waste all that on a Wizard team who won't make the finals, won't make the playoffs probably, and he'll struggle with that team because they don't compete. It's like what we talked with Melo. Melo was doing good out there with the Knicks. They struggled to get even into the playoffs. Now everybody looks at his career like you could have won and got you a ring. His highest accolade that he holds right now is winning an Olympic gold. And I'm sorry,
it's dollar bills.
He does, but it kind of after he kind of left the Knicks, he was in limbo. He didn't even know he wanted to play anymore. Teams weren't looking at him. I'm just saying because he took the money. He can live lavish his whole life. He's paid out this world paid. But that kind of will always hold that against Melo because now it looks like he's ring chasing. He's hopping from team to team, a Laker team.
That's always been.
I get it, but now you're searching. But you're searching for a ring. You're searching. Like now you want it bad. If you wanted it that bad, you should have took it when you was in your prime and not took the money and try to link up. I'm not saying that that's the best thing to do, but that was his window of opportunity. Now we're looking at Bradley Beal possibly doing the same thing. I don't think Washington's a landing spot. Nobody's looking at Washington like, you know what? Can't wait to get out of here and go there. and Washington's never been a landing spot. Even when Wall was playing there, it still wasn't a landing spot. Right. They just don't draw enough attention. It's not a big venue, big crowd, a big name. Right. I heard the most from the Wizards when Mike played. That was probably it. Portland.
They won the championship. West Hill, nobody still cares. I'm just saying, no one cares. No one cares.
I'm just saying.
Who was West Unseld? Just so tell me who West Unseld is. Not y'all gonna know. But anybody else at home, tell me who West Unseld is.
But
he's a champion with Washington. No one knows and remembers.
He's never going to. He'll like when Westbrook went there. All the triple doubles you get. Y'all went to, I believe they took it to the playoffs, got beat like a motherfucker out of there. Denver got swept probably.
But see, I think this is the thing though, and no offense to Bradley Beal, this is not. But when you talking about, I'm serious, but when you talking about Melo or somebody, it's a little bit different than Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal, we're talking about his legacy. What legacy? Tell me what legacy Bradley Beal has and he's tarnishing. Take the money, bro, because if you don't find the right fit, then you and your family gonna matter way more than going to the Chicago Bulls to lose still. I'm just saying, like, look, man, it come down to your family, and it come down to like really seeing what team you really fit with, and that's a possibility. If you just trade yourself, just betray yourself, and you go into the Clippers or something, like, I'm not so sure that's gonna work. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go to the right team. If you need the right coach. If you ain't going to a Golden State, Boston, a very well-led team, not just superstars on there and they need a 2-guard. Right. I'm talking about the team where even if you got to play a little bit of 3 or something, but you got Steve Kerr. Right. And you got, you know what I'm saying, Coach Udoka or somebody. Right. That's the fit for him. And if you ain't got all that happening for him, I'm taking the money because this is what happens in the league.
Even when they had the best players, nobody wants to go there. It's not a fit for no one. It's not a fit for no one. I agree with taking the money on the Bulls, but you understand, you taking the devil's dope. That's what it is. You gonna die. Your position.
So that's what Damian Lillard did. Damian Lillard took his money and then said, I want to leave. He didn't say, I want to leave, but we all know he want to leave. And that's how the league is. You take your money money first, then you complain.
Hey,
You don't complain
Like you
before you
said,
get your money.
we talking about Bradley Beal and Lillard. One has a legacy, one we still trying to figure out. That's all I'm saying.
For him and his caliber, for what he gonna get paid, man, go link up with somebody and go work on a team so y'all can build for something. If he works this harder, he can have 15 quadruple doubles and still won't meet a thing because he ain't gonna go nowhere. The Wizards don't do a good job of putting nobody there. They gonna pay that money, his career gonna die there.
There's a disconnect in this conversation between me and you though. I don't think Bradley Beal is that great in talent.
He's a great three. He's a great three.
I'm not so sure if he's gonna be great. Like he did a lot of empty calorie stats over here, but if you put him on a team where he's expected to know his role and complete that, maybe some of those shots I was going over here don't fall over the other
Put him on the Lakers. That's what happens.
I can see ball out.
Stuff like that. You get guys like Bradley Beal. You know, I kind of agree with you on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
You know, he looks good in Washington because that's all Washington has. So if you put him on another team, he might get outshined by somebody. He might not step up and live up to expectations. You know, it's just a new day and age. These players, they get so much more money. You know, it's generational money. I think he should just go ahead and get his money. It's just a new day and age. I would like to see, you know, players have that mentality that they want to go out and win and be the best all the time. But it's just a new day and age. Some players, you know, they just out here trying to get a check.
And these organizations don't even see it coming. So no, I wouldn't trade him. Why didn't you give him the option? Why give him the option when you still have the rights to him? Go out and get 2 or 3 decent pieces that fit what you got.
You got to sell jerseys, though. It's a business. You know, I
understand that.
Fill the seats.
You know, get at least one guy. Get at least one guy. You know, for professional who can play, and they get those jerseys. People buy those jerseys. But in the meanwhile, you get that contract off the books, and then you try to have a winning season. I like that Hachimura kid. Well, he played Gonzaga, something that funny name.
Rory Hachimura.
Hachimura. You know what I'm saying? I like that. I like that too. You know what I'm saying?
I compare him to a poor man's Kawhi coming out of college.
Yeah, I don't mind. You know, I feel like if you just the GM's got to get on their job. If you have a bad team, a team that when I say bad team, I don't mean bad players. I don't mean bad coaching. But when it all has to come together. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? To be fair, I don't want to diss anybody because I'm too good at doing that. But at the same point in time, it's like they don't have anything. Sometimes you got to clear the cupboards to put the food in. The food is there. They need to get rid of these old ass canned goods. You know what I'm saying?
It's pieces. They don't have pieces that fit well.
But they don't. They don't really have anything going except a major piece that you can trade.
Right.
That everybody think they want.
Right.
They think they want. We don't know. These players, when you talk about great players, and you will be judged as a great player if you make it to the playoffs, especially put them on the Lakers team, how are they going to be when they nitpick game to game? Well, it's his defensive liability. He can't stop this guy in this series. From game to game, series to series, they're going to break you down. We don't know if he's the type of player that can withstand that mentally. We don't know if his game is going to hold up to that. We don't know a lot of stuff. We thought Russ would have held up to a lot of stuff that he didn't. A lot of people don't. You know what I'm saying? Injury, all types of stuff. Being honest, you have no idea what can happen. Look what happened to James Harden in 3 years. And three years ago, everybody was like, oh, he could be better than Michael Jordan. He's scoring a lot this month. Like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? So when you got that piece you can trade, I just say get rid of them. But if you a GM, this is your job. I don't understand how you're not contemplating something like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like my brother used a great analogy yesterday. He was talking about patchwork. And he was like, somebody got termites. He was like, yeah, like I can, patch it up and make it look nice, but still got termites.
Yeah, I know you're
I have to get rid of that first and I can rebuild. And I think that's kind of where Washington is, where you have to clean the slate and then you just simply have to try to rebuild in the draft.
No,
not at all. Not at all, Brad. Come on now. We never called it a termite. But I think we're gonna kick it right into segment 2. But before we do that, man, the guy girl code, man. Check them out, man. The guy girl code across Wisconsin, man. Y'all wanna get y'all some clothes, man, for Juneteenth next week, man. Look fly. The guy girl code across Wisconsin, Valley View Mall. Check them out, man. And also Press Break, downtown across Wisconsin, man. Good food, good food, man. Italian beefs, hot dogs, all that good stuff, man.
Cheesy nachos.
Cheesy nachos, I suppose. Check out the cheesy nachos, man.
If you ain't got Bump Radio downloaded on your app, make sure you download Bump Radio, man.
Thank you, yes. Bump that radio, man. Check them out, man. Bringing it back how it's supposed to be. But segment 2. I don't know, y'all. I don't know how this one's gonna go. 1-on-1. Who's gonna win? Gilbert Arenas or Damian Lillard? I'm just gonna give y'all a little rundown. Gilbert, 6'4", 191, averaged a career high 29.3 1 year. Scored 60 on Kobe. Damian Lillard, 6'2", 195, career high 30 1 year. Check, this is something I found interesting. Most game-winning shots since he's been in the league as far as at the buzzer, 3. 2 of them have been in the playoffs. So I'll let y'all, well, I guess, y'all want me to kick it off who I think? I would say Gilbert. Give me Gil. It's just his ability to work in the post, giving up about 2 inches or so. I feel like his post game is something that was really, really underrated. Gil can work from the post. We talk about 3. Better ball handler than I think people probably give him credit for. He's a true combo guard. Put him at the point, more than 2, but he had absolutely no problem scoring. Probably the one guy who I've seen that could score. He wouldn't score as much as Gil, but as far as like hot, was probably, I don't know if I remember Benny Johnson. I don't know you know. Absolutely. Michael. And I was the guy would get in and just instantly offense. And that's kind of how Gil was. Once he gets started, they ain't gonna stop. You know, so I feel like in a game of 1-on-1, Dame isn't a good, I'm not gonna say he's not a good defender because he plays in the NBA, but he's not a terrific defender. And I think it would be a close game if you talk about this one game, because Dame can shoot so deep. And 1-on-1, that can definitely, shooting is a big thing for you in 1-on-1. So, but I would take Gil, man. I would take Gil in the game 1-on-1. I think his size and maybe going post. I would take Gil. We all got it.
I'm going to Gil all day long, man. When I look at the matchup, I think they both can score. They both got hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
California boys, but the thing is, defensively, you know what I'm saying? I feel like Dame is as good a defender as Gil. So I feel like it'd be a close game. If I get an edge to Gil, man, you know what I'm saying? Everything else he can do. I think he's way too many pedestrians too. I've seen this dude going to the lane, switching all up. I've seen Gil doing way too much down there scoring in the paint, man. When you got guys who can start going over there right on the right side, lean into you, then finish on the left side, spin. I don't know how you stop that in a 1-on-1. That's like a Kyrie Irving or something like that. Almost. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's too hard. You need more than one defender to stop a Kyrie Irving going to the right. You're going to find which side of the rim. You're going to use that rim as protection. You know what I'm saying? And finish on it. You know, so like, when I see, and both of those guys offensively can definitely put the numbers up. It's just defensively. And I don't think Dame is going to be able, especially at 6'2". You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's going to be able to hold Gil. We've seen 6'6" dudes getting that work from Gil, so with 4 other help defenders. So, yeah, I'm going to get
Gil. What you think, Jay?
If I had to take one on, or if I, for a 1-on-1 situation, I'm going Damian Lillard. And I really like Dame, man. Honestly, you ask me, I think Damian Lillard is one of the top 3 point guards in the league right now. I think he's probably my favorite point guard. I think if you replace him, swap out him and Curry, I feel like, Curry's showing himself something, he's showing something right now. He's showing a different side. But to get back on track, I think he has that killer mentality, man. I just feel like his mindset, and I think he's a little bit more athletic than Gilbert Arenas.
I agree with that.
He just can do everything. He can shoot deep. He's got a mid-range game. He can go up and dunk. He can finish around the basket. I know his defense would be the one area of concern, but man, Damian Lillard, he can do it all. I mean, I'm really high on him. I think he needs to get out of Portland and try to go, help out or get some help. Because I think he's the type of player, if you actually gave him some support, gave him a good second option, or gave him a good third option, I think he can win a championship. But leading a team, not even being a second, I think he can lead a team, but it's just a matter of getting the people around him because like I said, that man has ice in his veins. The way he did Paul George, that's like one of the most historical walk-offs ever in the history. Like, it's just crazy. And then Gilbert Arenas, the only thing my cause concern with him would just be, sometimes I don't know. Sometimes he just a little sporadic, a little bit, just a little sporadic, kind of unpredictable. You don't know. He just kind of just unpredictable. I don't know. He might not give you his best game. He might. Be on some other stuff. Who knows?
Might be like that. We don't know what he's doing.
If he's locked in, it's going to be a great game. But he's just a little unpredictable for me. So I'll take him down.
Okay. What you selling here, bro? What you saying?
Man, it was a little tough for me, man, because I'm heavy on defense, man. So when I first thought, it was going to yield, but man, I can't take nothing away from Damian Lillard, man. That man's amazing. He shoots that 3-ball, and the fact that he can make those game-ending clutch shots, that shows me a lot in the one-on-one. That means even when a man in your face, you can still hit that shot potentially consistently, and he can prove time to time that he can go up against people that's taller than him, bigger than him, and still get his shot off and be productive. I think his handles sometimes get a little underrated because dog really can finesse that ball a little bit, and he can create his own shot. Very good. I've seen Gilbert Arenas struggle to stay in front of certain people, especially smaller than him. I've seen it. Just struggle a little bit. Not be as consistent on defense. And I kind of put that to the category with Dame. I think he gives him a little bit of fits. Because I've seen them both get frustrated before on offense. But I've seen Gilbert get kind of frustrated on defense before and kind of take himself out of the game. I haven't really seen Dame get so frustrated defensively it takes him out of his game yet. So I'm leading with Dame. I think Gilbert has a hard time stopping that shot.
Okay. So 2-2, you got Gil, I got Gil. Both of y'all got Dame. Okay. I guess. Okay, we're gonna split it to that's all right.
I still say Gil. I'm still gonna take Gil all day.
I said I would like to see Dame get somewhere else. I feel like we're missing a gem in the playoffs. Someone who really could.
He was hurt this year.
It just
You got to go quotation marks when you say that.
because he worked so hard during the regular season. They don't got
He was hurt.
I don't know.
No.
He really could.
Only thing was hurt this year was his feelings made us CJ
He
go.
wasn't Dave. Come holler at us, man. But from what I read,
Go to San Antonio.
he was hurt.
Hey, they ain't gonna get no better at that 2 position than CJ. That's all I'm gonna say. Ain't nobody gonna find right now to feel that a better void than CJ McCullough at 2. So he gotta go. It's time for him to go.
Ain't nobody want to go to Portland.
No, they do. They have pieces. They just can't come out the West. The West is too deep for them. They can't compete in that West the way they want
Who
to.
wants to go to Portland? Who said let me sign?
I mean, Melo wanted to go there. I mean, they stay with consistent, decent players.
Anywhere at that point in time.
But at the time when we looking at it, there was no money because they was paying CJ full and they paying Dame, and they giving Dame like 140, 160 million, something like that. So there's no money to go around. Dame has to leave for them to be more productive. He has to go somewhere else.
What if Levine were to go to Portland? Y'all think that would turn him around?
He's not better than CJ. He's not better than CJ McCullough at this point. CJ's a better shooter, a better consistent.
He's more consistent. I'll give you. He's more consistent. But I think ceiling wise,
CJ didn't defer to DeRozan, or he didn't defer to DeMar as much as Zach LaVine deferred to DeRozan when they needed him to. And that's a fact. That's one of the reasons why the Bulls are contemplating on whether they want to have him back or not. When crunch time situation comes, he defers. He doesn't shine like he wants to, needs to shine. Not wants to, needs to. And he defers. And we don't want nobody, when we come game one, we give you $200 million, you better take that shot. You better take that. I don't fuck if you make a miss, you better take that shot. You better take that shot. We paid you $200 million. That's what that's for.
That goes against LeBron's legacy too of making the right play.
Sometimes.
You know what I'm saying? So
But when all eyes are on you and you watch your defensive breakdown and you have four people guarding you, of course it's going to look good to pass it off. Mike did it to Kerr and John passing. When everybody's looking at me and they ain't looking at you and they step up, I gotta hit you. But it's time and place, very situational. When it comes down to the last points, I want my star to take that shot. If he has a good look, I want him to take that shot.
true.
If you're a star, that was the thing about Kobe and Mike. They knew how to get a good look off.
They was forced regardless. They was forced regardless. They was the man. They was gonna throw that shit up regardless.
But they got clean looks.
How many times did we see Kobe miss those clean looks in the games and stuff too? He missed a lot.
But that was during the
shots
era.
in NBA history.
The NBA, let's see, we gotta look at that era and the ball we were playing though. That's like criticizing Larry Bird for not hitting as many threes and stuff. They didn't ever shoot back then. Back then they played hero ball. Every team in the league had the highest paid player take that last shot. And if you don't believe me, go back and watch Andre Iguodala miss 50 shots for the Philadelphia 76ers after Allen Iverson left. He was the man. He missed all those shots, bro. I mean, I'm not sure if he made one game win over there. He missed a million of them. And they realized he was the man. He realized he was the man to go back to people up in Golden State. Because, I mean, hero ball, that's just how they played it back there. Allen Iverson missed a lot of those shots too.
Yeah.
And he would have missed more than Kobe because he was the star of his team. But Kobe was just in other shape for way longer and was the star of his team for longer. I ended up going to Detroit.
He followed an iconic person so closely that he made it work. That's what he did. He took those shots, he practiced those shots, and he knew he had probably a 60-40 chance of them going in. And I'm not mad at that. That's his foot.
That's what the league asked him to do. Now they asked him to shoot threes and all that like nowadays.
Team asked him.
Then he was
Success asked him to do that.
Those guys.
Hey, you remember the commercial? When he had with Kanye, he said, what do I need more? He said, more. He said, what the fuck does that mean? More. We need more. More.
So, I think so. We got 2-2, man. That was interesting, man.
I didn't know how that would go. Y'all let us know who y'all would take too, man. Gilbert Arenas, y'all let us know who y'all would take out there. But man, gonna move right into segment 3. Dirk versus KG. Now this isn't one-on-one. This is simply prime versus prime. That segment we do. Who's the better player? Dirk or KG? Give everybody a little runaround. Championships. Dirk won, KG won. All-Star games. 15 for KG, 14 for Dirk. MVPs, 1 apiece. Finals MVP, 1 for Dirk, 0 for KG. All NBA teams, 9 for KG, 12 for Dirk. Defensive teams, 12 defensive teams for KG, 0 for Dirk. Defensive players of the year, 1 for KG, 0 for Dirk. Rebounding champ, KG 4-time. Best seasons, 26.6 for Dirk, 24 for KG, 9.9 rebounds for Dirk, 13.9 for KG, 3.5 assists compared to 6 assists 1 year for KG, 1.4 steals for Dirk, 1.7 for KG, 1.5 blocks for Dirk, 2.2 blocks 1 year for KG. That's the little rundown. We want to kick that off. Who's the better player?
I'm from Chicago.
Time.
That ain't just talking ass. No, but I am very biased. Our senior year was the same. I was supposed to go see a KG game my senior year. But same point in time, I got to go prime versus prime. I think it's the ball handling and the defense that put KG over Dirk. Dirk's shooting, especially from 3. You know what I'm saying? Of course, that's the main thing he got over KG. But if we got to compare prime versus prime player, which one I would rather take, I need that defense. You know, Dirk was tall, but he is not. Everyone knows he is not what KG is. You know what I'm saying? So with the defense alone, but you know, KG could score. You know, offensively to hold his own. Yeah. But the defense is what put him over the top in that ball handling ability. KG can play from. I won't give him a 1. But I've seen him bring the ball up before. He definitely played like point forward, stuff like that. So like, yeah.
KG all day.
I've seen him play basically point forward. I've seen him play small forward, power forward, center.
All day.
Yeah, all over the position of 1 KG.
What are you saying, Jay?
I'm gonna start off, man. First of all, this one kept me up last night. This one kept me up last night. This was a great comparison. This was a great comparison because, like I said, on the surface, I was really rocking. I was like, man, this one, I'm gonna go with Kevin Garnett. He's got a little more all-around game. But then, like I said, I was looking up last night. Let me go ahead and check some things out. And during the regular season, Kevin Garnett, you know, he has better numbers. He's got more accolades. He's more all-star games, I'm pretty sure. But, you know, the defensive team. Maybe I might be wrong on that one, but I mean, he has more accolades.
He has one more all-star.
Yeah, you know, the defensive teams and all that.
Yeah.
But then I started to dive a little bit deeper, and I started looking at their playoff numbers. And this is why it's a great comparison, because this is just something I just want to clear up. I like my players. I like to talk about players in the playoffs because that's when you're getting, you know, the very best. That's when you need them to be their best. And if you look at their playoff number, this is why it's a great comparison. They played nearly the same amount of games. Dirk Nowitzki played 2 more games in his career than Kevin Garnett did in the playoffs. But if you look at, like how you were saying he's better defensively, well, if you look at rebounds, Kevin Garnett, he averaged 10.7. Dirk Nowitzki averaged 10 rebounds. So he only got maybe 0.7 more rebounds. You look at, and it's really the offensive side. Kevin Garnett was a slightly better offensive rebounder than Dirk, but defensively they averaged the same amount of rebounds. Assist-wise, Kevin Garnett was 3.3 to Nowitzki's 2.5. Steals, they both average about 1 steal, and blocks, they average both about 1 block a game. But then you go to the points. Dirk Nowitzki averaged 7 more points a game in the playoffs. Kevin Garnett, he averages 18.2. Dirk Nowitzki averaged 25.3. All time, Dirk Nowitzki has over 1,000 more points in the playoffs than than Kevin Garnett. To me, I'm taking Dirk Nowitzki because he led his team more than Kevin Garnett did. Kevin Garnett, you know, he when he was with the Timberwolves, he couldn't even really get out the first. They got to I think we cleared that up last week. They did get to the Western Conference, once, but he was struggling. He had to.
How far they made it?
It was tough.
I'll let you finish.
But yeah, I just got a couple. Just a couple of
I
things.
definitely got something to say about that. 'Cause I'm from Chicago.
Hey, look,
Hey, my daddy no KG, no cap.
Hey, no, I'm not saying I'm not slighting Cage. But Dirk,
About that, sir.
but man, Dirk.
I will say this though. I understand what you're saying, but you also basketball is nuance. Name me 3 other players that played on that Minnesota team with KG.
I mean, they had Spreewell at one point, Sam Cassell. Sure, that starts getting kind of thin. Derby, I forgot about. Yep, Wally Zerbiak.
Irvin
Yeah.
Johnson.
Keep that point. Stop.
Irvin
He
Johnson.
He was solid with the net. Not
no.
by the time he got to the Timberwolves.
He did what he did. Don't fight that man.
No, not at all. He would bust my ass to this day, but no.
What was he, 6? And then I'm gonna say this, my final point, which is I think a very underrated stat, is free throws. At the end of the game, Dirk Nowitzki made all hits. He shot 89% in the playoffs, as opposed to Kevin Garnett, which he was shooting 78%. So, you know, round it up, it's not 79. But anyway, I just kept, to me, I thought I was really focused on, you know, at first, KG was a better defender, but then I started kind of diving into it and, you know, just the rebound. I think that Nowitzki, you know, he wasn't as, you know, he got the job done. He got it done for his team one year. They got a finals. He's been to the finals twice. You know, went up 2-0. It's just.
I can't get mad at that.
Yeah.
What you saying, Joe?
I like the Dirk art.
First off, man, I think I'm just gonna get this out. I think Dirk's championship meant more. Dirk's championship, yeah, he stayed with that organization for so long, went through the ups and downs, trials and tribulations, stayed with one team until they got it right, and he finally got it right. That was big. I feel like their championship was big for them. KG championship, I feel like, you know, like Jay said, man, he struggled with that Timberwolves team, even with all the pieces they had out there. It took for him going out to Boston in order to get it right. And he's around an exceptional group out there. You know, Paul Pierce, Rondo, Ray Allen. Ooh, man, that's a
Boston
good
organization in general.
That was a good team.
You know, yeah, that's just a first-class organization. You know what I'm saying? They manipulated that championship.
They did, and I like that. But if I got to give the one-on-one, and let me put this out there too. I feel like sometimes the numbers can be mistaken here. I know numbers don't lie, but the one thing that Dirk did that KG didn't do was shoot that 3-ball consistently. And because he could do that, his numbers scored up high because nobody really guards that 4 or that 5 at that time as well in that corner and gave him them shots. He had a lot of big moments too, and I give Dirk all that, man. He's probably one of the better 7-footers I've ever seen. I mean, shooting 7-footers I've ever seen in my life. But KG can guard 1 through 5. Fuck the fuck. I've seen that man go on Olympic teams and all-star teams and guard everybody that we think is superstars in prime, guard them and hold and shut them down. I have never seen Dirk hold a 2 or 3 to no points and be in their face consistent with footwork and
You know what KG looked like when he played defense. Those legs get wide, snap the flow, and he like this.
Right.
What does Dirk Nowitzki's defensive stance look like?
You don't know because he always just had his hand up. He was just standing there.
This ain't no mind of Dirk playing defense.
I didn't really visit.
You know what I'm saying?
But it didn't stop him from his defensive stats. But I think KG is a more aggressive player. When I've seen more explosive dunks and moves on people and shakes like that, like it gotta go to KG because of the ball handling. More than just the defense, he can get to his spot and get to his shot. Even though he's very consistent from that mid-range, I think Dirk probably shot a little bit more because that's where he had to go. KG shot them all over. You know, Dirk had his spots. You know, I think it's the athleticism that wins it for me with KG between that because KG was a freak of fucking nature.
He was.
And Dirk was, he's big, but he's, like I said, I've never seen a 7-footer shoot that well, ever. So I think what I went through there, I wouldn't let the 3 points and all that shooting around me. I'm going with KG for the athleticism because his handles and with his ability to dunk and finish around the rim was impeccable.
Yeah, Prime versus Prime with KG. Because it's actually hard because I love Dirk. And the one argument that my man made, that championship in Dallas just meant. Hey, come on, man. Dallas Mavericks win the championship. It sounds unheard of. And of course, it happens. What happened with Dirk?
And the heat, that D Wade.
I watched both those guys try to go up against Duncan before, and Duncan, to me, KG, he would try. Duncan would handle KG, but Dirk had a shot. He was just unblockable. You couldn't that little step back with his knee in the air and flick that. There was nobody could do nothing with that. Nobody.
To me, that's more a mismatch than it is necessarily Dirk being that much more better of a player than KG. Because Dirk is going for perimeter. That's not done thing.
Right. But that's what makes him special though, is because he's a mismatch. You know, he brings the big man outside the middle. Now if you got, because to me, Dirk, he's a real power forward. He's a true power forward because he could take another big man out. And now you just got your big center. They used to have Chop and all those big other. They had a couple other big guys. I forget their names, but I just feel like he was way more of a mismatch. And like I said, I'm not taking nothing away from KG. KG, the one thing I do like about KG more than Dirk is his mentality. He was more of an enforcer for his team, which is what they needed him to be. But that wasn't really Dirk's game. But man, Dirk, as far as I was surprised to see that he was getting the same amount of rebounds. And like I said, I'm talking about a purely playoff perspective because that's where I feel like that's where a player at his best. But I was surprised to see that he was getting the same rebounds and wasn't really that far behind in blocks. But like I said, you go to points, Dirk Nowitzki, way more points. He wasn't even getting 20 points a game.
I feel like it was always a mismatch because if you put Dirk and Tyson Chandler in at the same time, it's like, who do you guard? I mean, where does the big go?
Yeah.
The power forward is like, well, damn, I got it worked, but even if you get your biggest power forward out there, it's not a 7-footer. It's not a 7-footer. It's not a any shoots right on.
To go back to your point, none of these big dudes have footwork or perimeter footwork to guard a perimeter player. And everybody hit you like a perimeter player. You know what I'm saying? Well, perimeter moves to get a shot off, like a Steph Curry almost. Right? These big dudes couldn't, man, the only dude out there to do was Chris Bosh. He was the only one who was kind of okay at guarding, and anybody else was getting toasted. I remember a 2 or 3 year span where you just couldn't guard her. You just couldn't. And that shot was mainly the thing, too, with that knee up, man. That dude make me want to change my pick. But I'm going to stay with KG. I'm going to stay with KG. You know, because that championship means everything to Dallas.
I think that MVP speaks a lot, though, too, though.
Yeah.
That MVP.
You said prime against prime.
They both got MVP, don't they?
One has the MVP of the regular season, one has MVP finals.
Dirk
has a finals.
Did Boston? Who won for the ball?
Pierce.
Ball Pierce won it?
Yep.
Yeah, So yeah, I definitely that finals MVP. That's an whole.
Dirk
We should have a second on that.
Dirk has the finals MVP where KG just has the finals of the regular season. That's a big difference. That's a big difference though.
So we're
Our regular season is different.
KG here.
KG here.
KG.
Yup.
I'm gonna be the last to take Dirk.
I know you got Dirk. For me, KG all day. Look, a few points while I broke it down. I got KG. Actually, I have him as the second best power forward, only behind Tim Duncan and Otis. Otis Dorn.
I you went deep for that one.
Somebody was paying attention. Somebody was paying attention. I think
That
for
Houston team.
yes, man,
He's a champion.
his
He's
hands,
a champion.
hands are enormous. Some of the biggest hands. Might have been the biggest hands in the NBA ever.
Good. Yeah,
But
short arms.
yeah.
He said he was like a T-Rex, big ass.
Playing T-Rex ball.
Oh, we got love for you, Otis.
Over 300.
But I think for me, it came down to defense. KG was just a phenomenal defender, man. Tied for second all time, and defensive team selections only with him and Kobe tied for the most defensive team selections. Also, I think one thing people don't look at, watching Kevin Garnett play, and I watched him play in high school. Literally, he was a 5-minute drive from my house. Fairview High School. My pop was a security guard, and that worked there. And I got to see KG play, and I would say he was. Another reason why I picked him is he was kind of that. He kind of ushered in that new prototype of what a power forward is, where he was long, athletic, and you kind of did everything. Before him, you really didn't have that. So I feel like that was another reason why I took him. Another thing, I think, just to kind of piggyback off what B.I. said, is his ability to guard players on the perimeter. That's something that you really didn't see. And which is something I think where you said, well, Dirk had an advantage where, you know, he could dunk it, he could take him out on the perimeter. You can't do that shit with KG. Because I think a big thing is switching. If you switch, Dirk might give you 40 on one end, but he might give up 37 to the other motherfucker he's playing against on the other end. Because he can't come out on the perimeter at all. But who was shooting back then?
How many power forwards you had really shooting that could, you know, not now in today's day and age it might be a problem, but like back then in that era.
You didn't really have too many because KG was kind of that first
Weather.
prototype of guys who kind of utilize his mid range, and that's another thing I think people say. Well, Dirk, I understand what you're saying about he scored all these more points, but what I'm saying is that in the playoffs, what you're not looking at is that for one, how many deeper runs did Dirk have in the playoffs? KG did not have that many runs. He was playing in Minnesota. I would love to know how many games that between those, how many games KG has actually played in the playoffs compared to Dirk. Dirk has played with Steve Nash. He's played with Jimmy Jackson. He's played with Jason Kidd. A lot of these guys in their prime. So Dallas has always had good teams.
But the key to that, the difference between that is Dirk Nowitzki was always the first option on his team. He was always the first option.
KG was.
He had to go link up with Paul Pierce and Ray Allen. Paul Pierce didn't go link up with him.
Now, I'm glad you said that. Now, I think one thing people don't talk about enough is Dirk's 2011 run when he did win. Shit is bananas, bro, when I was doing this research. Might be, bro, when we was talking about playoff performances, I'm not going to say it's the best in the past 20 years, but when I actually did the research, he beat that Portland team. I think they had won like 40-some games, something that year. Then people forget, he swept that Kobe team. He swept that Kobe team that was going for a three-peat that year in 2011. And then on top of that, he turned around and beat that Thunder team that was full of young talent, and then goes and beat Miami. And one thing people don't talk about is that not one person on that Dallas team averaged 20 points a game outside of Dirk, and he did it in his 13th year in the league. So when you look at all of that, I was tough for me to say like, man, can I really say KG? But I also had to look at the fact that I understand what y'all saying about when KG won his, he went to Boston. But when you talk about Finals MVP, that's kind of one of those things as to where when Iguodala won and Steph won. Because I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think Paul Pierce was the best player on the team. I think it was clearly Kevin Garnett was the best player on that Boston team. And the reason why I say that is, how long had Paul Pierce been there and done nothing with that Boston team? KG also won Defensive Player of the Year that year. They won. So I feel like he was the staple. He was the best player on that team. Now his numbers offensively took a hit because now you have Ray Allen and Paul Pierce scoring. Also Eddie House too was on that team. So his numbers are scoring wise, but defensively from the eye test, he was still KG. He was the best player. He probably should have won Finals MVP in my opinion. So, but like I said, I can't take anything from Dirk and that run that he had. But for me, the way KG changed the prototype of the power forward, the fact that he could score, maybe he didn't score as much as Dirk. Mm-hmm. And honestly, he's got almost 50% for a career. For a guy that's, 7 feet, that was a mid-range shooter.
He was really bad.
So let me add this too. Let me add this quick point too, because I understand KG changed the game, but Dirk Nowitzki did too.
Dirk is the greatest.
Was he not the guy who started shooting bigs? He was the first one to come in the league shooting like that.
No, he's not the first, but
he shoot the way he did.
Who's better? He's the best 7-foot shooter ever. But we're talking about guys that can absolutely shoot that thing. There was a big man, Bob McAdoo.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but not he wasn't doing on the level that Dirk.
No,
level. That's what I'm saying. Like it was kind of a luxury to have that at the time. But when Dirk came in the league, now you got big dudes wanting to shoot now. You know what I'm saying? He transcended the game for big men in that way.
He did so tough. I remember, I don't know if you remember Cook, this tall dude came out fighting the line.
Brian Cook, are you serious? Of course.
Just really played the leg and stuff like that. I seen after a minute, this is Dirk Nowitzki's in the NBA. This nigga gonna do a little nothing while he's shooting all these threes, and I'm like, he must really be hitting them in practice. Because I've never seen him making these shots during the game. Who was giving this dude the green light? And I'm like, I just felt like it was Dirk Nowitzki, you know what I'm saying, his impact on the game as far as you can see a guy shoot well from out there. Maybe this could work for us too. It did not for those Cook teams. You know what I'm saying? But at the same point in time, that is Dirk Nowitzki's impact on the game. He had everybody on the do.
I was thinking about that.
So,
I like Bill, but
I'm gonna piggyback off what you said about the prototype KGB in the first place. I think it was Lamar Odom. I think Lamar Odom was the first prototype of that thing right there.
if we're doing that.
No, I'm just saying as far as like prototypes, as far as a power forward at the time that could do it, I really think it was Lamar Odom because
Goods, man.
Big Lamar Odom fan, but I think really we want to talk about one of the first prototype power forwards, and that kind of KG build came similar to. I'd have to say Lamar Odom was the first prototype as far as a good, it's coming through that new age of power forwardness, because after Lamar, then we see KG, and we're like, damn, don't forget about Lamar Odom, baby.
And he was a lefty.
And he could shoot it, the handles.
The handles and the shooting. He could play like a point guard.
Yeah, guard handles.
Man. So,
He gonna back you up too.
that's why I say
too if you look.
he puts you in the wall.
He
He
can
can
really do
shoot
everything. Threes,
So as far as we going up there, I always gotta mention that man because I feel like before the crack, he was something to talk about.
Yeah.
Now everybody losing because of his drug habits. Anytime we ever hear about now, it's some Kardashian shit.
Sam Kardashian.
I mean, but his name should always be remembered as one of the elite power forwards at a certain time.
You think he going to the Hall of Fame?
No.
Too short. If he could have stuck at his apex, if he could have,
Hall of Fame.
if he could have held that down for a few
That
years.
drugs will affect it.
Yeah.
I think the drug
the drugs will affect it.
one. I feel like his whole off the court persona was gonna keep him out of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Yeah.
I feel like he was a clean cut dude. I feel like he was messing around and got in.
Yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that. He had to do it more consistently
Not
for a
from a
longer
numbers
period.
perspective.
Right, from a numbers perspective.
He never reached his he never reached his potential. He should
But he
have been a
compromised some of those numbers to win. He played with Kobe, and Kobe
did.
only goes
And he came off the bench and he did what his job was.
And he did
So
whatever his job was at the elite level.
Never making the Hall of Fame.
Nope.
Never made
No,
it.
he ain't.
He never
That's
made,
not even
never
right.
made one All-Star game.
It's just sad.
He should have made it the year he was in Miami.
Yeah.
He should have made the All-Star team. But what we gonna say, man, before we finish up this last segment, I really want to get into where we going. Is it 3-1 KG?
Yeah,
I gotta go with KG, man.
Dirk?
Yeah, I'm going with Dirk.
Stick with Dirk?
I'm sticking with Dirk. Playoff Dirk.
Who, me?
Yeah, it sounds like you was changing
I'm giving Dirk his props. I'm still kind of upset with Dirk. I think that year he won MVP, they absolutely destroyed NBA Live. Was that year he won
Yeah.
MVP?
Yeah.
That was the last year
Yeah.
NBA Live. I remember wasting my time going down the street to my cousin's house, Anton. And I went down there. I'm like, man, how this live is? He's like, Joe, this shit trash. He said, this shit trash. He said, I do it. But they that white boy MVP.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. But yeah, I got to go with KG, man. KG, come holler at us. I love you and Uncut Gems, man. Come check us out on Old Heads, man. But we're going to hit into this last segment for y'all, man. Player who you absolutely whiffed on. Somebody who you thought would be a Hall of Fame caliber player, all-star player, and now we see him at the bar with us.
Wow.
Or at Fridays.
Wow.
Oh!
He said Friday.
Hey, if you know, you know. If you know, you know.
You want to kick it off? You saying something?
Man,
That's what I want to know. What you saying?
I'm gonna tell you, man, the one that caught me, man, I just can't get over it. The one I just can't get over, man, she probably agree with me, man. Man, when the Bulls wasted a second overall pick on Jason Williams, aka Jay Williams, Duke, number 22, man. Golly, man, this man was supposed to be projected to be that man. He had one job, play basketball and fulfill your contract. We drafted him as a second overall pick. This man played 52 games, started 28 of them. Then this man ruptured his contract to the fullest. He had one job, all he had to do was stay off ATVs, hang gliders, motorcycles, and all type of reckless activities. So what is this man going to do with his money after he gets all this money from his Bulls contract? He goes and buys a motorcycle. And then he gets into a crash. And then he forfeits his whole contract.
I don't know what it was. Something.
Was it a whole man?
No, it was a motorcycle.
It was a motorcycle, okay.
And he got into a wreck with it and messed up his leg. Our second overall draft pick go get a motorcycle and wreck his leg. Never, or actually he did come back, I think played a little bit, was never really successful as his projected game. Now you can find him an NCAA commentator talking about college sports, but I don't think he can be nowhere around college kids because he'd have made the worst choice ever. But maybe that's somebody they gotta see like, hey man, you fucked up, I don't wanna be like you, I know what not to do now. So maybe he is there. But Jay Williams, well, I loved your game, man. You let me down. You the one I whipped on, man, because I swear the Bulls going to the top.
No, but not to cut you off. He actually does have a great show in the morning. It's Jay Will and Max with Keyshawn. So he's doing his thing, man. He's definitely doing his thing commentating. But that's not a bad pick, and that's actually a great pick. I was sick when Jay Will. Yeah, that was, I don't know if I would necessarily say you whiffed on him. I think injuries are two different things.
When you get injured on the court, not outside the court, you have one job. It literally says in your contract that consists of like all these millions of dollars, you just can't do this. And you went and bought a bike that he got cost 20 to something grand, 20 grand. So not only did you just say, fuck the contract, you went and like, shit, if I'm gonna give you a bike, I'm gonna give you a good one. And then crash the motherfucker. So that's 20 grand down the hole, whatever your contract down the hole.
Right.
Come on, man. Come on. What is you doing? It wasn't that you got injured on the court even. Jones like injured. Then I'm like, all right, he got injured on the court. This dumbass dude got injured off the court doing some extracurricular shit, man. That's like Damian Lillard getting paid $160 million and getting injured hang gliding over the Caribbean island. Well, you know you ain't need. Come on, man. You can wait till after your career to do that. You got one job. Stay healthy, play ball, man. He found a way to mess that up. Shout out, man. I love your game. Damn, bro. That hurt. I like it.
Who want to go next?
No, I want you to repeat the question.
Sure.
What is the definition of a whip?
Whiffed?
Somebody don't
I come out of the draft.
Somebody don't just gonna be good. Then you need expectations.
One time in their career, you thought that it could be better.
It could be
happen.
It could be college. It could be NBA. Anybody who you thought like this guy, like you telling people, man, this guy is going to be legit. He's going to be nice. And then 2 years down the line, you playing 2K and he's on the free agents.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know if you want to let that marinate.
Yeah, I'll let that marinate.
You know? Yeah.
So the guy I chose, he actually has a somewhat successful career. But when I remember, and I was a little bit younger when I first seen him play, I thought he was really finna just get that guy because he was a freak of nature. I picked JaVale McGee because he was a 7-foot guy.
Shout out.
Jump out the gym. Yeah, he's stupid athletic. Like stupid athletic. This guy crazy.
He's a dunk
Yeah, but when he was young, he was jumping out the gym, dunking on people. Right, blocking shots. He actually has a pretty crazy highlight tape, but then he also has a crazy low light tape.
Right.
He has one of the worst low light tapes probably in the NBA history. I mean, I watched it several times. Him running down the wrong side of the court,
Second check.
getting letting Nate Robinson hold him in the post, stuff like that. This little 5'3" guy hold you. I don't know, man. Like I said, he had a successful career, and I like JaVale McGee. I still think actually he could be a good piece to a team, maybe a backup center or something like that, which is good, right? Which is where that's where he's found his role and he's won championships that way. But I was kind of expecting this man to kind of, I thought
To be an all-star.
yeah, I thought he could be the guy to build around just with how freakishly athletic he was. And he never got hurt. He really never got hurt as big as he is.
Great.
He was healthy. So
he worked out a lot though.
Yeah.
I seen videotapes of him working out. I ain't even see this earlier about Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
I seen a videotape of Anthony Davis working out in the off season. But yeah, I see JaVale McGee one.
What tape did you see of Anthony Davis then? Just the
locker
street clothes. No.
When he was in the locker room.
When he was in the locker room getting his ass tore with the towel. Why don't you service? I always see him work out tapes. I still got questions, Andy. I love the game. I still got questions. I don't want to hear no questions.
What was that?
That was a little wild.
What was that?
Why we see all them tapes, man?
Yeah.
Post some workout tapes, man. Shit.
Don't forget, boys. Don't forget.
Shout out to JaVale McGee too. He went to my high school.
Oh,
Chicago.
really?
Yeah.
You went to Hales? Francisco?
Yeah.
That's why you a dog.
I stayed a block away from the school. I stayed on 40 Champlain. Let's go 49 College Road.
My nigga Richard Mack, bro, put up 23 against Hales, bro. It went nuts, bro.
Man, everybody was putting up knocking.
No, Hales had
dog.
Yeah, we did.
Hales had
I be trying to tell
Dogs,
you. I
bro.
went to a basketball factory.
dogs, bro.
We was able to
Dogs,
recruit.
bro. Yeah, facts.
So we
Hales,
was
Franciscan,
recruiting,
bro.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Dog,
yeah,
Joel,
yeah.
Mike
Dog.
Herman, you know what I'm saying? I can mention so many dudes and they all transferred to go to King or something. When they went there, we
Yeah,
was trying
yeah.
or somebody. But like, no, we had what's his name too? What's the little Kowski? Jimmy.
Boosie.
No, Jimmy,
Sanders?
yeah, Jimmy Sanders.
From what Sanders?
Yeah, that nigga was the Hells first.
For real?
Oh man, I'm telling you, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, shout out to Hells, man.
My sister got a real barbershop.
Oh, they come to say number like 5, 6.
Yeah, look, you get that lane talking water.
He came here and got a haircut. I think he's one of the first people I posted on old head.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Bro, I fuck with Jimmy, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
Boosie,
sir.
cause
You tell him the hell?
yeah, cause Boosie was supposed to go to the Paul, but he didn't have the grades. Boosie was one of the best point guards in the nation, bro.
Yeah,
he was like top 20 in the nation that year with like Kobe and
Man, Mike Herman still called Mr. Chicago basketball. Mike Herman is called Mr. Chicago basketball.
Yeah, facts.
And in a time where KG played,
Mike Herman.
Fields,
Mike Herman was nice,
you know
bro.
what I'm saying? Like this,
So you said Jay.
Jay Williams, man.
McGee. Who you taking?
Man, I'm gonna have to go big dog and Rob, man. I thought dude was gonna be.
Oh,
I was watching the Purdue games, man.
Don't say that,
I seen that dude drop like 30 in the first half on somebody who wasn't even shot they wanted. I'm thinking this dude, I'm thinking he about to be better than Grant Hill.
Please don't say
Jason Kidd, these dudes that came out in his draft. You know what I'm saying? They, matter of fact, Grant Hill and Jason Kidd, they shared rookie of the year.
Who you say?
Big dog and Rob.
I'm tired of this shit. I can't take it.
Big dog playing Rob, Jack. That dude was a monster. Tyler.
That's tomfoolery.
Shout out to Walker, man. We used to call him that dude on the court. He put everybody in the picture real quick.
I love Big Dog, man. Saturday morning, I'm sitting there watching him and Gene Katie just screaming at people on the sidelines.
He got the curveball for the day.
If it was an all,
Curveball for the day.
bro, Dog used to be throwing people shit the third row, growling at my bro. I love Big Dog.
Big dog for nothing.
I'm trying to Stephen A. tell you, hey, Stephen A. tried to say something about that dude a long time ago, dog, man, him with his friends and pistols after the game, and Stephen A. said, hey, never be on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, Big Dog was a street dude, for real.
Yeah.
Like, you know, man.
Definitely lasted the dying breeze.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I love
He was a baller, though, man. It's hard to say that, man, that dude, I put him up against damn near any other small forward ever. You know what I'm saying? He had all the moves in the post, man. All the moves in the post. He reminded me of like a Zach
faded away.
He wasn't very athletic, but
He didn't really, nobody really knew when he left. He just kind of like faded out and just like wasn't
yeah,
there no
he's a
more.
couple of Spurs, didn't he?
But Spurs, you gotta
He
win,
won.
You wasn't proud. You wasn't.
No, he
Bird
got
was he was
And he said he still had a jumper fit on the whole game type shit. The Spurs.
Yeah.
He never too good.
He looked at us, man, like that big dog.
That's how we look when we see Robert Parrish. That nigga was sitting over looking old as hell.
Look at my oldest shit.
Oh shit, that nigga was averaging 2 minutes. Shit, you know what I'm ready for? The free water
For
and the
real.
pull away.
Robert Ferris didn't even get up to give you a high five. You just walk back to your knee.
Hey, they just take a picture of like shit. This big, oh my god.
For real.
Celtics later, you got bullshit on, looking sad as
For
hell.
real. You know that nigga was, oh, he ain't do this. That nigga did this.
They had to take a whole timeout for him to come in. That nigga took every button off. That nigga was like, shit.
For real. And fold that motherfucker up.
Say the right in the spot, I'll be right back. Like, 2 minutes, I'll be right back. I'm right back. Like, all right, big dog, catch on the flip, baby. That nigga come out, foul the nigga, come right back to the spot. Unfold that shit, button everyone back up. Hop his ass right back in that mud. That nigga got right where he need to be. Hey, some niggas know their spot. He knew his spot, nigga. Seat number 6. Seat number 6. Young blood, this me right here. Let me go ahead and place it on there. I'll be here all day.
Oh,
Yeah, he knew his spot.
oh, shit. Who did I go with today? Oh, man. I'm still tripping. That boy said Big Dog. Ah, man. One of my favorite college players. Probably second or third, right behind Larry Johnson, man. Then I was a huge Derek Coleman fan, too. But, I was thinking about taking DC. But
We'll wear them next week.
That's for another
We'll wear
episode.
them next week,
bro.
Derek Coleman.
That's for another episode. Oh, that's all.
Prototype for real. What was it, like 16,
16.
Yeah.
Lefty and lefty, mid-range, 3.
But really wanted to post you up though.
Yeah.
So that was the thing, but he could also dribble. So it wasn't like
Yeah.
he was like, you know what I mean? You had to tell him, go down the post. That's what he wanted to do.
Mhm.
Yeah, kid on that perimeter, that dude.
If you get a chance, look at him and look at Derek Coleman and Kenny Anderson in a playoff run. Fanatics, bro. Just phenomenal. Derek Coleman thing was hard. They had absolutely nothing to do with talent. All the talent in the world. But I went with Darius Miles.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Hey, just run down, Will. Who used to do that with him? It was him and somebody else. With Rinsley, yeah.
I've actually seen Q play out of Whitney Young. But Darius Miles, 6'9", 210, third overall pick. Best year, averaged 14 points. At 14 points, excuse me, for Portland. That team was not very good though. It was basically him and Zebo that year. Weird thing is, after that season, he had micro knee surgery, but I still don't know if he ever would have reached the potential I saw him have coming out of high school. His high school tape is just it's phenomenal. If y'all haven't seen it, y'all, like I said, we old heads, man. Go look at Darius Miles' high school mixtape. It is unfair what he is doing here. His numbers in high school, check this shit out. 22.1, 12.1 rebounds, 7.4 blocks per game, along to go with 3 assists. And to me, I thought he would be a poor man's Kevin Garnett. That's what I thought he would be. I thought he would be a 22 and 11 and 2-3 guy for the next decade. And that just never seemed to happen. He got with that Clipper team. To me, that was his best chance with the style of play that they played. Being with Quentin Richardson, Lamar Odom. I don't know, was Pooh on that team? Pooh Richardson might even been on that team still.
I have not tracked Pooh Richardson's career.
I don't know why I did. But
I remember the light skin cat.
Lamar Murray, I believe, was on that team. Bo Kimball might even been on that team.
Was Bo team?
Maybe. I'm not sure. Bo might have still
I know
on
he was.
No, you know who might have been that? Was it Gary Grant? They had a point guard.
They were sort of relevant.
Did they have a point guard? Did they?
I thought it was
Yeah, Cannon or somebody.
Yeah, Chris Payne was all-star actually when he had left. But yeah, man, I went with Darius Miles, bro. I felt like he never developed into the type of player I anticipated him on being. Like I say, he did find some success in Portland, where he put up 14 a game, and you actually had people around the league questioning, did Cleveland give up a future All-Star? But like I said, that team really didn't have much of anything else. But I think Zebo, he was a rookie and maybe 1 year player removed. He might even been a rookie that year. So Darius Miles for me, man, I thought that guy would be, like I said, poor man's Kevin Garnett, and he just never fully, I felt like, utilized his talents. Like I said, I don't know if it was about bad organizations or because he never was really with a great organization. Went from the Clippers to, I believe, Cleveland, and not really on good teams. But even still, you could not be on a good team and still put up numbers a la Bradley Beal. So for me, it was Darius Miles. So
That's a big.
I think honorable mention too. I think I had up there who I was kind of debating with was Bogan. I don't feel like Bogan panned out to be. Bogan was on pace to be kind of nice.
I would never like it.
But that injury
In Milwaukee.
Yeah, I thought he was really shy in Milwaukee. I thought
he was starting.
then he went over to the Warriors,
He won.
caught him ring and stuff. He was always a nice little shooting big. He played in the middle fierce and stuff, but he never really stuck around. His career was very short for a big. Not as short as Greg Oden's, but it was short.
How about Dwight Howard? Wasn't he supposed to kind of pan out and be one of the best center, the new Superman and all that? He just kind of
he couldn't.
I thought that's who he was gonna pick.
You can't be that good if you can't finish with your left and you're on a professional level. And I've never seen a person in the NBA that's been in there that long that really just can't finish with their left. That's tough.
Never developed a move. What was first pick, right?
Yeah.
First pick out of the
Yeah,
draft.
first pick.
He's been playing forever though. If you take his height as apex those years, I say he did his job.
Orlando,
He's
first
just
2 years in
old.
the league.
He's just old, and he's still serviceable.
Yeah, I wouldn't say
How far did he take that away from? They went to the finals.
Dwight Howard's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
so.
Lord,
Yeah,
like
like
3 years.
basketball.
He wasn't even the best.
Not the NBA Hall of Fame. It's the basketball Hall of Fame.
He would make the NBA Hall of Fame. He would make
What accolades? What has he done?
Defensive player of the year. He took his team to
What?
the finals. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
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 And then just fell off a cliff, huh?
crazy.
Because they played inside out back there, and he was dunking on
Mars,
everybody.
slow down, huh?
He was dunking on everybody. The only reason they went to the finals is because of Rashard Lewis 3-point shooting,
Jameer Nelson.
Triple 3-point shooting, Jameer Nelson 3-point
was
shooting.
hooping.
But they played inside out. Without him being a threat to dunk on everybody in the league, they wouldn't have got those open looks. And they worked all the way up to the finals.
I'm not saying he wasn't a good player at his best, but his best just came 2 years in his career, and then he fell off. He went to the Lakers and was supposed to be something. He was about Kobe, and Kobe was clowning him. And then he went.
I feel like Kobe killed his confidence.
That in the certain
That's his own problem.
that's
That ain't a Kobe problem.
That's
That's
him
his problem.
He only played because he thought everybody would call him soft if he did.
Yeah, that's true.
But he couldn't even jump.
That's true.
His back was messed up this time in LA. So then he finally go to Houston. And then all of a sudden it's James Harden's team. James Harden didn't work out with nobody.
Yeah.
If you think about it, he did. He could only be the only star on that team. He came over, he took that team from Howard. That was Howard's team when he went there. James Harden took things from him and get Chris Paul up out of here, get Melo up out of here, get your homeboy Russell Westbrook. You said it was your homeboy, get him up out of here. James Harden got everybody out of there and then left. And then left again. Like, man, this dude is, man,
That's true.
that dude's a little 50. He's a little 50.
I give you that.
He was feel like this. He, as a starter, he could be pretty cancerous. As a bench player, he's probably one of the better bench players I've ever seen when he first started out.
Yeah.
That was the best time when he was more humble.
Yeah.
I knew when they gave him that starter world, that position, that role, and he was giving him that big money, I knew it was going to go to his head, and I knew he was going to do it. He's a great player, but that ISO ball can get you in trouble. And I'm yet to really see somebody win a championship playing ISO ball. So I'm yet to see that.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. There's too many good teams, too many schemes now. That's not that era.
It always seems with like Harden, if he's not shooting well, the team loses.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of feels like.
He's so ball dominant.
Because he takes a lot of shots and he's very ball
I seen him
dominant.
shoot well and still lose because he put the shots that count. It's the difference
Yeah.
between the first and
He's a
third
great
quarter
player.
shots.
I-
When it matters, man, it's time to play and then it's winning time. You know what I'm saying? And then winning time, when palms get sweaty, and backsides get tight. You know what I'm saying? For real, but who won't not only want to take those shots, but make it? A lot of guys are shying away from shots.
Right.
And the average guy ain't even catching that. You know what I'm saying? The dude ain't even taking the shot.
Just to go off what you were saying, that's a great one too. You were saying that Dwight Howard is in the Hall of Fame. Would you say Ben Wallace is in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, because he's won championships. To me, he was more of a he just had a better, to me. I don't know. He's more impactful. I'll put it like that. Like I said, like he had one great year in the playoffs. To me, yeah, one great year. I mean, like I said, I look at stuff from a playoff perspective. There's 2 seasons: there's the regular season and the playoffs. And honestly, the regular season kind of just is the just big long preseason to me, because the playoffs is where your players make their legacy. You can get there's awards and stuff you can get, but like you can win. Like for instance, when James Harden won MVP, he was great during the regular season, but you get to the playoffs, not that guy. He just isn't that guy to me in the playoffs. I don't know. He's not. He kind of checks out and just doesn't have. Like I said, the playoffs is a different season, and I just don't feel like Dwight Howard he lived up to his expectation personally. But like I said, in the regular season, he was cool.
It's got to be another.
I think-
so.
I feel yeah.
Dwight Howard-
Players who we don't think should be in the Hall of Fame.
I think he's a great player. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I agree with him. I haven't seen him hold down nothing consistency, like win consistently. When I see people, when they used to go against Rasheed Wallace and Ben Wallace, they was worried about them. They was not just Rasheed, they was worried about Ben Wallace. They was worried about him pinning your shit. Like, he was their defensive anchor, a leader. I'm glad he was on the number 1 defensive team that year as well. His aggression. Dwight kind of fell off a little bit. Dwight won a ring coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Ben won his rings as starter. That's a little different. When Dwight was a starter, he didn't really take it off. He won as a bench player. Huh?
How many years did Ben play though? Because you can probably add up Ben's years of playing. Said he played 7, 8 years or something. 'Cause he went to Chicago. They told him to go ahead, man, and all this other crap.
Oh yeah, he averaged maybe a half a point with us.
You know what I'm saying?
Like type shit. Like
he
steroids.
he fell off really quick.
He did. He was
Dwight
quite consistent.
sustained. He had a longer
As a bench player,
dominate.
as a bench player though, he sustained
As a
things.
starter.
Dominated.
As a starter.
I can't really say
He was in Orlando for a long time. Though.
If they were dominated, they would have made a bigger splash.
People forget, bro. I think people really forget.
Great team
I
over there,
think people forget how good prime Dwight Howard was. Prime Dwight Howard beat LeBron in the playoffs to go to the finals as the man.
He was a man.
Ben Wallace, people forget, was in Washington before he went
Yeah.
to Detroit.
Yep.
No one knew who he was
Correct.
at all. You won't know who Ben Wallace was if he wasn't with that. He was at the right place at the right time.
Larry Brown.
But he knew his
Yeah.
position. He knew his position. He
Exactly.
never went out. Oh, he was never bigger than the team.
I would
He
never,
did whatever
I
the
would
team
never
needed him
say,
to.
I would not never say he wasn't, but Dwight Howard was the man. Period. He was the best big man in basketball. Ben Wallace has never been close to that, which is why I said if he's an Hall of Fame, Ben Wallace has what, three Defensive Players of the Year awards?
Does he been wild?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it might be
so.
four. It might be three.
Yeah,
also.
Ben was
My apologies, y'all, for not knowing, but I know for a fact Dwight has 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Not a lot of players have. Not many players have multiple. So for him to have 3 in a row, take that Orlando team to the finals, so we're talking about Jameer Nelson,
Yeah.
St. John's.
It was a good team though.
I mean, St. Joe's, him and Delonte. Man, that was an okay team, but when you put that team up against other teams to make it to the finals, they're going to be on the lower tier of team that's made it to the finals. When you look at the totality of the talent that they had a prime Dwight Howard.
When you think of one of the top defensive basketball teams to ever win a championship, that Detroit Pistons team is on there. And Ben Wallace stands out as the best defensive player on that team at times. So when I'm saying like in the starting rotation, Ben was a standout. Even Rasheed there, Ben was a
Switch
standout.
those players. You can put Dwight Howard at Detroit, man. On the Detroit team, they still win the chip.
Facts.
You put Ben Wallace on the Orlando team,
Facts.
they not going to
They're
the
11th
championship.
seed.
I think Dwight can score that ball a little better as far as going in
A lot
there.
better.
But I think Ben is the person you worry about because it wasn't. Dwight to me gives up too many points down low. That's why I have a hard thing. Where Ben wasn't really giving up on points.
That's
down
what you
low.
said.
I
Not
don't think so.
Not Orlando. Not Orlando Dwight Howard.
Only
Orlando
person
Dwight
I've seen
Howard
get him
throwing
was
shit.
Kobe, bro. It was ugly when Kobe got him. He had that nuts all in the face. It was horrible.
Yeah.
But at the same point in time, though, he's the only person I've ever seen really get Dwight like that. Dwight was holding it down.
We can go over Dwight's
That's
whole
what I'm
time
saying.
playing at the bubble.
That's
And we'll do like that because even LeBron had to say something like, "Yeah, man, they just dunking all over you." Dwight, they was just having their way off.
They was done that on 5 back surgeries. And
I get it.
That's
But you're an NBA player, you know what I'm saying? You still out here, you still playing your role. That's how he got his ring, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When he was in his prime, it just wasn't enough. He was good, and I do not knock any accolades he's pulled since then because he was a great player. But in his prime, he still wasn't enough to take his team all the way where I felt Ben did.
I just feel like Dwight
But I think
was
it's
a Hall of
defensive.
Famer before Ben. I feel like they both be Hall of Famers. This is a basketball Hall of Fame. So you gotta take their, you know what I'm saying, totality their whole career. That's why some of these guys in the basketball Hall of Fame, it's easy to get there. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But at the same point in time, I think Dwight in the NBA. That is my opinion.
But sometimes I think a lot of that is what Jay was saying too. It's a mental thing. You know, sometimes I feel like Dwight checks out of games where I feel like Ben Wallace was a solidified role to play defense and get it done. People are still bringing Ben Wallace into their facilitation. I believe he just got another job somewhere, assistant coaching or somebody's coaching bench, where I don't feel like nobody's going to bring Dwight in to coach when he's done. They're not. There's nothing that Dwight can teach a person or nothing like that.
Dwight went Hollywood.
You know,
Dwight went Hollywood. He went to LA, started getting into that lifestyle,
Yeah, he
started
just-
kicking it, having fun.
I'm
Mad up,
Niggas with Tia, bro, man. I ain't mad at him.
Yeah,
I
hey,
don't
he did his
know
thing.
But for Miss
A lot of weird things also circle around Dwight too, man. I still don't know what's going on with this episode. This man had probably one of the most fraudulent injuries I had ever heard of ever in my life. He had to go to the hospital and get his ass looked at because there was some. Seriously, you can literally look it up. You can literally Google it. Now, we don't have funny shit, but all this is booming around. Then the next time we see him, he got braids. I don't know what was going on with my guy, but I hope the best for him in his career, man. Because he's a great athlete, man.
I don't know where to go with that, but
No, look it up. Look it up. Literally Google it. There was.
I'm not doing that. I'm not looking.
And he had to miss. He had to miss games because of it. How is you having such extracurricular game shit that you got to miss games for that
One of the
game?
biggest mysteries in NBA
Yeah.
history.
Bro, he had to go get it looked at and had to miss games. So I don't know what's going on, but clean that shit up, man. We don't even know about it.
I think that's a wrap for y'all today, man. Episode 4, man. We had a lot of fun. Please check us out, man. If you're in La Crosse, Wisconsin, next Sunday, next Saturday, we will be at Riverside Park doing live basketball debates for Juneteenth, man. That's actually Father's Day weekend, man. So
Ooh, shout out to all the dads.
Old heads, Father's Day weekend, Juneteenth, Magic, LeBron, who would you start the franchise with? It don't get no better, man. Big shout out to Girl Guy Code, La Crosse, Wisconsin. If you want to get fresh, you want to give Pop something fresh for Father's Day, Girl Guy Code, Valley View Mall, La Crosse, Wisconsin, man. Check them out. And also, Pops be hungry, man. You don't want to cook? Hit up Press Break, man. Downtown, La Crosse, Wisconsin. So you got the nachos,
Cheesy nacho, cheesy steak. While you eating that food, you make sure you download that app, bump that radio,
Yes,
man. Make sure you
sir.
get that. So while
Yes,
you're enjoying your
sir.
meal, you can hear some jazz, man. My
Yes,
man's steady
sir.
going, man.
Yes,
Hits
sir.
every minute.
Bump that radio. Episode 4 is a wrap. Thank y'all, man. Please follow us at Old Heads. We're on YouTube, Facebook. Check us out, man. Tap in, man. This is a movement, man. It's been a lot of fun. Episode 4 is a wrap.
yeah, y'all, it's gonna be hot. It's supposed to be 88.